All right, hello everyone. We're going to do today a very short lesson on German adjective endings preceded by definite articles. It says here definite and indefinite. However, today I'm only going to focus on definite articles. So in German, the definite articles are der, which is masculine form, singular, die, feminine, das, neuter, or neutral, and die also for plural. So the thing to keep in mind is that adjectives that are preceded by definite articles and that are modifying nouns, they are going to change according to gender, case, and the preceding word. Here the preceding word is the definite article. So let me give you a few examples just to talk about when do we actually decline adjectives and when do we not. So the first example says, der süße Hund schläft. Okay, so that translates, the sweet dog is sleeping. So you notice that we have the der, which is the definite article, the, here, masculine form, singular. And then we have süße, and that is the adjective sweet, which is modifying the noun Hund, okay, which is a masculine noun. So you notice that I have in red the E. That is highlighted in this red font to show you that this is the ending that you would add after the dictionary adjective form. If you just looked up süß in the dictionary, for, the word for sweet, you would just see it written without the E. But here it's declined according to gender, case, and preceding word. Okay, in the second sentence, we have der Hund ist süß. Okay, the dog is sweet. You notice here that süß is not declined. There's no ending on the end. Okay, there's no E or EN or anything else. So what you have here is an example of a predicate adjective. Okay, so süß is following the verb ist, which is a form of sein, to be. All right. So one thing that's helpful is, given that there are so many declensions in German, it's really nice here if you can sort of boil it down to two choices. So really the only two choices that you have for the adjective endings are to add an en or an e. Okay, and that's again when we're talking about adjectives that are preceded by the definite article. When you're dealing with indefinite articles, it's a different story. You have more choices. But here, only two choices, either en or e. So for adjectives, let's look at the choices here. I've got them laid out. So number one, when would you add en? Well, you would add en to the adjective for all of the plural forms. Okay, all of the plural forms in terms of the cases. Every one of them would have an en added. You also add en to the dative and genitive singular in all of the genders. Okay, so that's super helpful. And then you have the masculine singular accusative. You would also add en to the adjective in that case. Number two, your second choice would be to add e. Masculine singular nominative. Then that was the example that we saw. Just let's go back to that screen. Look at the example. Der süße Hund schläft. Okay, so notice we add an e. Okay, so that's an example there. Masculine singular nominative. Also feminine singular nominative and accusative, and neuter singular nominative and accusative. Okay, so really two choices. You either add en or e. So let's look at a chart that I put together. So this is just sort of the big picture, and I've tried to color code it to help you see what your options are. You notice that everything that's highlighted in this kind of light blue, these are instances where you would add en. And if you notice, the majority of the options here, or the possibilities, will be en. Okay, so if in doubt, guess en. if you're trying to figure out and you don't remember, just guess en. You have a higher chance of getting it right. But if you want a strategy, you notice that there are only 4 spots here where we add e, right? So that's the masculine singular nominative, where we have der braune Hund, okay, the brown dog. Notice you add e after the braun. And then feminine nominative, singular, and accusative. You also add E. So here we have die weiße Katze and die weiße Katze. Same thing. They're exactly the same. One's nominative, one's accusative. And then in the neuter singular, we have das kleine Fenster, das kleine Fenster. Same thing. Okay, the small window. Here with klein, you simply add the E afterwards. All right, everything else is EN. So again, to walk back through the steps, if you notice on the plural here, let's go to the last column, the plural column. Every single one of the adjectives have an EN. Okay, we have for the nominative plural, die großen Bürger, accusative, die großen Bürger, and then the dative, den großen Bürgern. You notice that in the dative case, the noun for mountain, Berg, has an N at the very end. Okay, that's to signal that we're dealing with the dative case. All the rest of them, you don't change the noun ending. And then genitive, plural, der großen Bürger. All right, so that's it. I hope that was helpful. Let me know. This was brought to you by Tip Top Deutsch. And we hope that if you liked it, that you will visit our website, Tip Top Deutsch, as well as our Facebook page and Instagram account, and that you would click like. Thank you very much for listening.